Welcome to Kathy's Culinary Creations, where home-cooked meals are made easy. Hello, hola. Hoy vamos a hacer carne molida para tacos. We're going to make some ground beef for tacos. Started by heating some olive oil in a pan. This is a very different recipe if you were, for example, going to make picadillos to go with un moro de habichuela negra, or if you were going to make ground beef or empanadas. So I'm going to show you my take on ground beef for tacos. Usually I do not use the taco seasoning, but I was trying to do something really fast this day. So what I did was I add 3 packages of 16 ounces of ground beef. For each 16 ounce of ground beef, you will need 1 packet of taco seasoning. I will be honest, I did not read the instructions when I was at the grocery store, so I actually only have 2 packets. So what I did was I just seasoned it to taste after adding the 2 packets. And I think it worked just fine. And usually when I do ground beef, I like to use the organic brand. I think it cooks faster and it gets more tender quicker. Also, I usually don't even use the taco seasoning. You could just use, for example, salt, pepper, cumin, chili powder, just to name a few seasonings that will give you a very similar taste. So as you see, I usually take a spatula and I mash the ground beef to smaller pieces. I think that just makes it easier to make the pieces smaller. And then you will take a potato masher and you will mash them. I'll be honest, I started doing this technique because I saw a lot of people doing it online. I personally don't really have a preference. I could just continue doing this step with the spatula alone, and it still gets me a pretty mince, smaller piece ground beef. So as you can see, once the meat starts to brown, I like to continue mashing it with the spatula and stirring it around just to make sure that all pieces start getting brown. And while my oil was heating, I put a pot with water and salt, and I'm going to boil some corn. I think corn is such an easy side for tacos, so you should definitely consider just boiling some corn in order to pair it with your tacos. So the recipe of the packet calls, once the meat is brown, to add it with some water to the beef. I'll be honest, I'm a bit skeptical about this step because I like to season my meat as soon as it hits the pot. But it still works for this because now what's going to happen is that the meat is going to simmer with all the taste and the seasonings that I am putting in the pot. And as always, and as you will learn from all my videos, there's never enough garlic powder that I will not be able to use. I think I need to start getting sponsored at this point. So bate to bate that meat, stir it around, make sure that every seasoning, everything gets into the meat, and then what you're going to do is you're going to cover it and put it on low. And that way the meat starts simmering and the liquid starts to dry. So once the liquid starts to dry, I like to go back in there with my spatula and start mashing it even more because the meat at this point is really tender, right? So this is an opportunity to get into all those pieces that were a little stubborn and they didn't match as well. So once the liquid is absorbed by the meat, something that I have learned from different bloggers is that you should let your meat get a little bit of color, because color means taste. So that is an opportunity to continue leaving it in low simmer and just keep an eye on it, and that's basically all you need to do. And of course, I need to have a taste. So this is your opportunity to add any more salt, any more garlic powder, any black pepper, anything that you want to add to make sure that the meat is seasoned to taste. I think that maybe if I would have used the other packet, I didn't need to do this step, but listen, once again, as I've always said, garlic powder did not do anyone any harm. So add all the seasonings, because I prefer things to be seasoned than under seasoned. And here's my creation. Thank you for watching. To keep the seasoning going, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you make any of the recipes from my videos, please comment below.